Testicular prowess, the capacity for violence. I'm the man, I'm super bad. Imps, zombies, you think you can get me?
Everyone, I have a confession to make. I really, really like old school first-person shooters, which you might have noticed.
Fast shotgun.
Now, I got sent this review code through the super secret gaming press wire, yo. She bought it off Steam! And I'm here playing it in my state-of-the-art gaming press office. We're in a motel room. Max, stop undercutting my first impressions. We're sharing a bed together.
Health pickups, fast movement, carrying more weapons than an incredibly insecure American citizen. It's fantastic and offers the kind of thrills that people have only recently started to remember were much better than the bland conveyor belt gameplay of modern military shooters we've been stuck with for so long. And there's no boomer shooter out there quite like Doom. Doom is one of the most influential video games ever created and set the bar at the time not just for first-person shooters, so much so that other FPS games were referred to as Doom clones for a time, but it also defined a standard in terms of action gaming, graphics technology, and game design. And violence. Boy, did the parents like that. Even though this game came out before I was even born, it still has a dedicated player base today, and people are still making new levels and modifications to it right now. And guess what? You should totally go back and play it. Right now, especially if you've never done so before. As classic as you can, too. Running it through GZDoom may give you a bunch of modern bells and whistles, but it will destroy the experience somewhat. So do it with no jumping, no crouching, no brutal doom, and especially no vertical mouse look. Seriously. I mean, look at this. I don't mean to sound like a purist, but there's a certain way this game moves and feels, like a dance you're slowly figuring out as you play, so at least once you should play through without those unintended additions. Play it at whatever resolution you want though. I get graphics are a huge barrier when it comes to playing older games. I've loaded up Deus Ex so many times getting ready to finally get stuck in there with this titan of RPG gaming, until I get in and see it and just...
If you want to make a covert approach...
Doom, however, compensates for its primitiveness by being one of the most tightly designed shooters you could ever hope to play. Basically because it doesn't have any of the fluff that other games that came after it added. There's you, some enemies, an exit you have to work towards, now off you go! You don't have to worry about reloading, usable items, alternate fire modes, friendly AI, or anything like that. Other shooters certainly use these things to great effect, but not having it in Doom actually makes it feel lean and less flabby in comparison, like you're getting an undiluted solution of pure liquid violence straight to the veins, which honestly makes the whole thing feel refreshing. Yes, you may point out that the maps in Doom resemble real places about as well as politicians resemble a real human being, but honestly, after having the sudden urge to play through all the campaigns I can find for this game, it works to its own advantage. It means there can be a huge variety of locations that don't have to worry about the little things like,
how did the people in this military base get up on this platform without wading through toxic slime? Why does the switch for this door have to be several rooms away? Ding!
It serves the gameplay rather than serving any sort of logic and continuity in story and lore, which is fine. It keeps the pace up. We don't need a story justifying every little thing going on in a game like this. What was it that software wizard John Carmack said once?
Story in a game is like a story in a porn movie. It's expected to be there, but it's not that important.
Huh. I wonder what happened by the time Doom 3 rolled around. But the real beauty of Doom comes from how it can express itself through enemy placement and level design alone. You get a variety of thrills in different situations that call upon different modes of thinking. Sure, you can walk in and shotgun everything moving here, but then over here you have to start thinking about moving carefully so you don't fall off to your death. Then way over here, really late on in the experience, where you feel confident you can do anything, the game springs horrible traps on you to make sure you're still on your toes. It never stops you in your tracks, and you are always in control. It's majestic and graceful. The enemies themselves, while kind of limited in Doom 1, especially when going through the original 3 episodes back to back, all serve valuable utilitarian purposes for offering a variety of gameplay challenge. Zombie men are hit scanners, so you can't dodge their shots like other monsters, making them priority targets. But then these pink demons rush you, looking to chomp at you and getting in the way of your shots. So these two together make a bit of a devious pair that the first Doom just loves to throw at you. Cacodemons have a bastard amount of health and slowly fly around spitting fireballs, which can intimidate you when you're trying to deal with other things. And Barons just show up to flex on you when you least want them. And you know, Doom isn't just all shooting. 98% of it, sure, and at least 1% in the remainder is to support the shooting, but it can't be understated how finding a secret in an old game like this is so satisfying. Even when it just gives you some health you don't really need, there's a sense of satisfaction seeing that results screen read 100% secrets found. Never mind about 100% items, that's a dumb metric, just forget about it. And yeah, I think I've explained my case for Doom about as well as I can at this point. So let's get some quick-fire scoring of all the officially released map sets underway. Doom 1 starts off strong in episode 1, knee-deep in the dead. It teaches you how to play the game well, and the maps are just really fun to play and replay again and again. Which makes sense, it was the one they released in the shareware version, so they were really trying to impress people to get them to buy the actual game. 10 out of 10, lovely, perfect. Episode 2, The Shores of Hell. Well, it's not as good as Episode 1, things get a little shaky, but there's some good stuff in here, some less than good stuff. We got a cyber demon though, so come on, 8 out of 10. Inferno, Episode 3, has some really, really dumb stuff, like this hand-shaped level that is sometimes the point I decide to take a nap instead of playing the actual game. Let's call it a 5, I don't want to get into it too much. Thy Flesh Consumed is okay. The opening is cruel, but I kind of forget most of what happens later. 6 out of 10, why not? Doom 2 is different. I know I've been talking about Doom 1 and 2 kind of interchangeably here, but it is an entirely different animal to the original. Yeah, one weapon and a handful of new enemies might not sound like a game changer, but the super shotgun, apart from being an absolutely incredible weapon that all shotguns aspire to be when they grow up, gets you into a serious duck and weave mindset that pairs fantastically to the new enemies, all of which have pretty significant health pools, which makes not just this gun more useful, but also means you might be falling back on your most powerful weapons much more often than you perhaps needed to in Doom 1. But the levels themselves are a shot of adrenaline back in the arm in my book, and while it can be a bit all over the place quality-wise, I can generally have much more fun with it than Inferno and Thy Flesh Consumed. Shoot it up to a 9, it's paving new roads, baby. Then there's Final Doom, which has both the Plutonia experiment and TNT Evolution. God, that name is so stupid. TNT sucks. It's way too long. The maps are all such bloody labyrinths I need to backtrack around constantly that I feel I'm always playing with the map open. And maybe I wouldn't be so upset if they didn't put their logo everywhere throughout the campaign. How smug can you get? Fuck out of 10, I don't care. Plutonia's much, much better. Hard as a goddamn rock, but its levels are quick, not counting your deaths, and really set a standard in my opinion what people can do with Doom. Sometimes it does feel you're meant to die to some of the traps the first time, so you're ready for it the second time, but it's still fun. Probably helps that Doom gets you back into the action fairly quickly after death. 9 out of 10. Oh. And Sigil. This isn't official, but it is made by John Romero, and Bethesda put it into the console version, so why not? It counts. Honestly, I dig Sigil. A lot. It's an entirely different Doom experience that shows off what I was talking about, level design and monster placement, creating different atmospheres, making the action take different directions. I know some people don't like it, But they're wrong. Fuck 'em. 8 out of 10. 9 out of 10 if you buy the Buckethead soundtrack with it. And that's all I've got to say on the matter. Boy, I sure hope there's a crossover between Doom fans and fans of teenage drama games. Ah well. See you next time.